cinders, ashes and clay. Whoever has to clean here has to give it all they've got. Whether with water pressure or dynamite, the dirt's got to go. The Schkopau lignite-powered fire station near Halle transforms coal into energy, enough to supply about 2 million households with electricity. For this purpose, the power plant runs 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Up to 20 coal trains a day supply the necessary fuel. About 20,000 tons of lignite are processed here every day. And these are the men that have to keep the plant running. Mirko Wolfram and Frank Holm-Nowotnik's maintenance team works here at the power plant all year round, every day. The first job in the morning already requires heavy equipment. The mega vacuum cleaner comes into action. Mirko Wolfram is almost a little proud of this machine with its 7.8-inch pipe diameter, his ally in the fight against dirt. Yeah, basically that's what it is, an oversized vacuum cleaner. It's capable of sucking up 8,000 cubic meters of air volume per minute, and you're able to fit some pretty big things through the pipe as well. For example, we can easily hoover up a brick that's about 330 feet away. First cleaning job, the water treatment facilities. Various processes within the plant require water, which gets cleaned around the clock in one of the adjacent buildings. Normally, the leftover dirt from this process is taken away automatically. In this case, the leftover dirt is a clay-like mass. It's collected in a press, turned into a so-called filter cake, and dropped into a sludge bunker. And here lies the problem. The conveyor belt in the bunker broke down last night. By morning, the sludge has already spread all the way to the door. About 8 cubic meters of dirt are waiting for the cleaning team. High time to activate the mega vacuum cleaner. The heavy, sticky mass is no problem for this machine's enormous suction power. Now we have to vacuum up the filter cake as quickly as possible so that the maintenance department can get in here, do the repairs and put the plant back into operation. After a good 4 hours of sweaty work, the job's finally done. Thanks to the enormous suction power, the bunker has been completely cleared. But the next job is already waiting. Time for some explosive cleaning. There's an emergency in the boiler house next door. Where coal is burned, ashes are produced. In a power plant, this happens in the boiler. Normally, the ashes fall down through a kind of funnel and can be removed, but sometimes the funnel gets clogged. And that's exactly what's threatening to happen at the bottom of the boiler. Once ash is lying on the grate as a large lump of slag, it's possible that the narrow shaft is simply too small. And that's why Frank Holm-Nowotnik and his team now really have to go for it. Not a nice place to work. Hot, dangerous, and unbearably loud. Our customer has commissioned us to blast away the slag we see back there in the upper grate area. The issue is that this lump weighs about 2.5 to 3 tons. If this monstrosity blocks the shaft, part of the power station will have to be shut down. We can prevent this by setting up a very special explosive charge for this lump, and that's what we're going to do. The whole thing must be done while the plant is still running. But putting explosives into a fire at over 750 degrees Fahrenheit? This really requires a specialist. The explosive in this case is ordinary dynamite, so there must be some trick. We're blasting here in an environment of 700 to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, which really is something special. So we insulate our charge and cool our ignition wire. What the insulation actually is, well, that's a trade secret. The finished construction resists the extreme heat for 4 minutes. In this time, the explosives have to be put into position and everyone has to retreat to safety. The load is in front of a lance with which the explosive is then positioned. The sensitive ignition cable runs through the lance. This is the water cooling for our ignition cable. The lance itself is flooded inside. Safety measures are an absolute must given the extreme heat in the boiler. Thermal suits protect against possible flying sparks, but will this help if the explosives detonate too early? Until ignition, it must not get too hot, so cold water is constantly pumping through the lance from behind. But there's always a residual risk. The clock is ticking. The explosives are exposed to the heat. There are only 4 minutes left at most. The casing around the explosive burns after only a few seconds, but the charge has already been fixed onto the chunk of slag. The lance is secured, and now take cover, everyone. The area around the boiler is now secured. Ignition. A huge fireball. But was the blast actually successful? For us, the result is hardly visible. But the boss is satisfied. In a very short time, whilst focusing on a high level of personal safety, we've eliminated this slag block and the conveyor can keep running. The boiler doesn't have to be shut down, operations can carry on normally at full capacity. The layer of slag is gone. Operation can continue. But the next job is already waiting. A job involving real pressure. Water pressure cleaning. When everything is working in the boiler, the ashes are transported away on conveyor belts and end up in a silo. This has to be serviced regularly, and it has to be clean. Not easy, because the ashes, which are hot at the beginning, have to be extinguished with water before transport. Hence the name wet ash silo. And as you would expect, it's really dirty in there. No one can fit through this dark and narrow shaft for cleaning, so only a special tool can help. That thing there. Here we have a tank washing head. The nozzles are attached to the washing arm here. This washing arm is then powered by the immense water pressure. And it can be moved in any direction. And these two rotational axes interact to create an image of complete chaos. By doing so, it really cleans every point in the container. 26 gallons are pumped through each jet per minute. At a pressure of just under 1,450 psi, the water shoots out of the tank washing head. About 10 times the pressure of a standard high-pressure jet washer from a DIY store. Not only is it going to be wet, but it's also going to be quite loud. At such high pressure, nothing and nobody should be in the immediate vicinity. There's the risk of personal injury, and camera equipment can be destroyed. Well then, here we go. Water on. The water shoots out of every opening in the silo. After only 10 minutes, the whole thing is over. The cleaning water flows down from the empty silo. Successfully cleaned. The silo interior looks clean and shiny. And that's the end of the day for the cleaning team. The entire power plant is squeaky clean. With the help of mega high pressure, extreme suction power and big bangs, cleaning can be really fun.
How much money is now on the table?
Yeah, $5 million.
$5 million? Yes. Just on this table?
Siberia, the middle of nowhere. In it, the city of Mirny. And its existence has one reason only. The Mir diamond mine, one of the largest ones in the world. Almost 40,000 people live in Mirny, in the midst of snow, ice and -50 degrees weather. It's hard to imagine, but this is the epicenter of the Russian diamond mining industry. and we want to see these diamonds. After more than a year of research, we finally got a filming permit from the world's second largest diamonds producer, Alrosa. But first, we had tried to be put off.
Unfortunately, we can't go down to the Mir mine just yet, but there's a view of it from the platform. Is that okay? Let's go.
The morning shift is still working underground and we are not to interrupt them, but the view is worth the waiting.
Wow. This is insane.
Enormous. Unsurprisingly, this is one of the deepest man-made holes on Earth. It's 1,722 feet deep. On top of that, its diameter is an astonishing 3,900 feet wide. The Mir diamond mine is so big that you can even see the crater from space. But open-cast mining has gone dormant for the past 15 years. The mine has been so overworked that its walls are at risk of caving in, a grave danger for workers. But underground mining continues. The entrance is right around the corner, and thanks to a special permit, we can see it from up close. But underground mining isn't without its dangers. That's why we have to receive safety training first.
This is a so-called self-rescuer, the most important thing to carry underground. It's used when there's an accident involving a gas or smoke leak.
During emergencies, the breathing apparatus provides around 50 minutes of oxygen. And we even have to sign a waiver where if something happens, it's our own responsibility. But we came to see diamonds. And in order to do so, we have to go into the mine. And our companion is the shift manager, Sergei Gamble. And the boss is to show us how business is done around here.
Hurry up, we've got to move.
Tiki tiki.
Tiki tiki, I think it means we have to move faster.
Alles richtig schnell gehen.
Correct. These pitmen have to stick to a strict schedule. Many of them are day workers. If they miss the lift down into the mine, they lose their wages. There's only one person for whom Sergei still has some time.
David, my wife.
Hallo.
The Mir mine is run like a family business and has been so for 60 years. Now it's finally time to head down. Most equipment, such as the lift, dates back to the Soviet era, but it still carries the miners deep down 3 times per day. We don't know exactly how deep, and that's cause for confusion.
No. Hey, cameraman, Andreas. Come back here. We won't be there for a bit.
We have to keep going even deeper. A total of 3,280 feet into the ground. It's easy to get lost. The diamond mine resembles a maze, and it's the deepest one in the world at 3,900 feet underground. We were expecting extreme heat and stuffy air underground, but it's not nearly as bad, surprisingly.
What's been really pleasant has been the fact that we're at around 60 degrees in here, so about 70 degrees warmer than outside, which really makes a difference.
Escaping the icy cold Siberian weather is just one of the many reasons why Sergei loves working underground in Mirny.
I've always found a romantic side to this place and this job. I've always been very enthusiastic because this means more than just good money to me. Above all, the contact with my colleagues is important to me. I'm very happy to still have this job.
But it's a very dangerous job. Surprise fires and smoke in narrow aisles are not uncommon. And sometimes even a simple bump on the ground is a risk.
Look out!
David?
I warned you.
Fortunately, after this little stunt, we no longer need to move by foot, because pitmen like Sergei also have a company car. He drives us to the side, 3/4 of a mile away. A huge machine is waiting for Sergei there. The most coveted object, a massive stone wall. Sergei is so determined it is clear to us that our treasure is hiding from us behind the wall.
We've no idea whether there are diamonds behind it or not. We're not geologists. We're just the workers who dig the rocks out from the wall. We get clear instructions, and there we drill. But there are diamonds everywhere. Even if we don't know exactly where, we'll manage to find them.
That's because underneath Mirny there's a gigantic deposit of the volcanic mineral kimberlite, and in a very rare composition as well. They're teeming with diamonds. What is special about it is that not every kimberlite contains valuable minerals, but in Mirny, an extraordinary amount of them do. Sergei's job is to mine the rocks out of the wall with this monster. These steel milling machines have been specially developed for mining, being able of crushing concrete even. All that is missing is the truck that collects the diamonds.
Hey, be careful where you go. Do you want everything to collapse above us? Incredible, unbelievable.
But after a little drama,
now we can get started.
even if it looks brutal, the mining doesn't hurt the diamonds. They're the hardest mineral in the world and are close to being indestructible. But there's still no trace of the precious stones.
Oh, it's extremely dusty in here.
A dirty business. But diamonds are not just to craft fine pieces of jewelry. Due to their sturdiness, they're particularly popular in industry, for example in drilling systems or high-tech tools. But so far, no.
Okay, look, the truck lost some of the stones, like this one. Can I keep this? Are the diamonds inside right now?
There are some in there, yes.
But I can't see anything, it's just a stone, there are no diamonds.
Maybe not particularly expensive ones, but there are definitely some in there.
No chance to keep it?
No.
Okay.
Well, it was worth a try. The stones are on their last journey underground with a lorry into the collection bunker. Around 400 tons of rock can be found here every day, ready to be transported to the surface. Where exactly? More of that later. For Sergei and his crew, today's job is done.
Everything down here is still an adventure to me. I love my job. The atmosphere. What I like most is the comradeship. And above all, my after-work beer.
That's what you get after 8 hours of hard work. At 8 p.m, Sergei and the other pitmen head back to the surface. And so ends our first day in Mirny. The next morning, as an exception, we are allowed to witness an explosion. Underground, they're prohibited. That's why we are headed to an active open cast mine. Since there are no scheduled flights to Mirny, we hitch a ride with the company's own airline to Niorba, about 250 miles away. Here we meet production manager Dmitry Shuklin. Just as it was the case underground, everything has to be done really fast above ground.
We're running a bit behind. To be honest, we're actually very late. I hope we can still make it.
Why is he in a rush? The blasting master has to struggle with adverse conditions in the Siberian winter. He fears the detonator could freeze at -25 degrees. Therefore, we have to go, go, go. It seems to have worked, but it's all too quiet.
Oh.
Alles?
Good?
Good?
Very good.
Все красиво.
Now the stones have been loosened, the work can begin again.
Отработало.
Half an hour later, the first trucks drive into the heart of the mine. In contrast to Mir, kimberlite can still be mined above ground here. But how do the stones become diamonds now? The secret may be revealed. The final production takes place here. The first impression is that it's gigantic. All stones from both the upper and lower quarries are collected in one place. Dmitry shows us what happens here.
The stones are delivered and then fall through this shaft from the outside. The machine down there stomps and crushes them, since many are still quite big boulders.
No diamond in the world is the size of a rock. That's why the stones are gently grounded into smaller and smaller proportions, little by little. They'll be brought down to a diameter of about 5 inches, the widest a diamond can be, and large enough to fit through these holes. But we still can't see them. This could change now, however.
In any case, something very, very important does happen here.
Warning signs, double doors, and suddenly a lot more security personnel. We seem to be very close to our goal at last. Behind this door, we expect to find what we've been looking for all this time. But all we see are more dirty stones.
It's a kind of X-ray machine in connection with a special concentrate. Here we filter out the diamonds, but you're not allowed to show that.
The machine scans the stones and simply sorts out the ones without diamonds. The ones with value end up in a sulfuric chemical bath. The mixture is top secret, but it's used to separate the kimberlite volcanic stone from the diamond. But these are just stones. Unfortunately, we can't see the complete procedure. We were expecting diamonds, and all we got was a secrecy. But we're meant to them here.
You have to hand over your passport.
We enter a rather unremarkable room. What is striking is that only women sit here, and they're handling what we've been looking for all this time: diamonds. A whole bunch of them too. So many that we can't count them all. They're in their raw form, since they won't be smoothened for a while. These women have an especially important task under the guidance of the only man present.
Here we determine the price of the diamonds. In order to do this, we sort them by size and weight.
The weight is measured per carat. 1 carat is 0.007 ounces. But these stones are much heavier. That sparks our interest.
Can I grab one?
No.
Why not?
Алмазы.
The diamond could fall and be damaged. Who pays for that afterwards? Only the employees are allowed to handle them.
Не несет за них ответственности.
They earn around $1,100 per month, which is good money here, but a little something extra in the pocket would be tempting. No, I would never take a stone home. The reason? Diamonds are catalogued before being transported. If only one of them goes missing, then everyone has to pay for it. And that can be really expensive.
How much money is now on the table?
Yeah, $5 million.
In addition to size and weight, the diamond's so-called purity also affects its price. The employees sort the rough diamonds according to 16 color categories. The following applies. The purer, for example, the clearer its color, the more valuable. Particularly dark diamonds cost around $10 per carat. Nothing compared to those that are almost as see-through as glass. And although there is more money lying around here than women will ever earn in their lives, they act normal around it. It's not special for us. I've developed a kind of immunity to the huge amount of money I work with every day. To me personally, these are only stones. Quite valuable stones, though. The demand in Russia is so great that they can only be sold domestically. And there is plenty more of it here.
One day a month that can change everything. But to get there, there's a hard and sweaty road without any pay. We all depend on the gold we mine. I have 6 children to feed. But it's not only the risk that's high, so is the potential prize they can win. A carefree life. When I started in the mine, I never thought I'd own a whole farm later. 2 separate realities that depend on each other. We visited Peru, specifically the mining town La Rinconada. What exactly is behind this chance-based arrangement? To reach the highest city in the world, our team has to surpass the 5,300-meter mark, which is about as high as the base camp of Mount Everest. Up here, there is low air pressure. Our team literally runs out of air. For safety reasons, we have to acclimatize ourselves halfway up for 2 days, so our bodies gradually get used to the new circumstances. But really slowly.
It's getting harder and harder to breathe, regardless of the fact I haven't really made any effort and I'm simply sitting in a car.
The higher we go, the more surreal the landscape becomes. The temperature drops to -5 degrees. And there it is, Rinconada, a place of hope. The workers who come here hope to find happiness within a month. Today is the so-called payday, which means they've worked for 30 days without pay. But they can keep what they find in the gold mine today. Their only hope of a better future. Then the road ends. We can only walk from this point on. The air pressure is now so low that doctors actually recommend oxygen be supplied artificially.
The more you walk, the more exhausting it becomes.
Every step is a challenge for us. The miners, on the other hand, are used to the thin air. Some have been waiting for the big break for decades, like 46-year-old Fortunato. He's been working in the gold mine for 22 years. His name means the lucky one. But in the gold mine, it still hasn't paid off for him just yet. Here, he lives with a colleague. His wife and 2 children live kilometers away from him in the rainforest. My family is very supportive of my work here. We need the gold. Payday is my only chance to save some money and perhaps start a better life. Our dream is to move to a city someday. Maybe today is the day. His life insurance, his equipment. He's made do for years with what little he's earned with the mining firm. Let's test the light really quick. It works. All right, let's go to the mine. In this 8-hour shift, he has the chance to change his life. All the gold he finds today belongs to him and his family. A friend of mine, Raivu, once found a whole kilo of gold. He bought several cars and a house with it. He now lives a very good life. And that's exactly what my dream is. It doesn't happen here often, but I know that it's theoretically possible. For all miners today, it's payday. It's all about a month's salary, and everyone has only this one chance. There's a lot to be earned in the historical business that is gold. In total, 150 tons of gold were mined in Peru last year. This makes Peru the largest gold exporter in South America. Almost 2/3 of the export earnings come from this region. Between 8,000 and 12,000 miners work in the mines. A total of about 450 mining contractors offer jobs. Huge business, at least for the employers. The miners work in shifts, covering 3 8-hour shifts per day. Per cave, Fortunato searches with 30 to 50 workers for the big break. His only help in the dark caves, the weak light on his miner's helmet. Hey guys, how are you?
¿Cómo están? ¿Está, compañero? Señor vigilante, ¿cómo estás?
At the beginning of each shift, their most important ritual is to chew coca leaves. It helps combat the symptoms of altitude sickness. We have to chew these leaves to better withstand the hard work. They give us strength and protect us. Stimulating coca leaves. In Germany, they would fall under the Narcotics Act. Here, they are part of everyday life. A dangerous everyday life. In the mine, the icy walls melt and turn into mudslides. The safety precautions are of the lowest standard.
Stay more to the side. Don't touch the wires, they are electrical.
The work process is simple. The motto? On the stones, get set, go. Where and in which stone the gold is hidden, no one knows. The only way to find out is to search every single boulder with their bare hands for shiny marks. And incidentally, there are no theft controls on paydays. Theoretically, everything is based on trust. There is less and less gold in this mine, and soon there may not be any left anymore, so we have to work a little harder. We would need new caves. There's not much to find here. We usually only find very little. But we all depend on the gold. I have 6 children to feed, 3 girls and 3 boys. The workers operate in shifts. Fortunato and his colleagues hope to achieve what few have achieved before them. We visit one of the lucky ones. Hon has been living with his family near Lake Titicaca for the past 2 years. Half a kilogram of gold has completely changed his life. That's about 10,000 euros. It took him 6 years. In the meantime, he's amassed a whole farm with its own livestock, a car, and enough space for his parents, wife, and child. He is his own boss, keeps everything he produces, and lives in a safe area. For Hon, this is hitting the jackpot.
Al inicio, o sea, cuando fui allá,
in the beginning, I was just one of many. I never thought that I would own a whole farm. It used to be nothing but work and more work for me. Now life is much easier. When I found the gold, I thought, well, what to do with it? And in the end, I could afford this property. Since Hon left the gold mining town Rinconada, the 26-year-old seldom visits. Although he's dreamed of the wealth he now possesses for so many years, he looks back on his time in the mine with mixed feelings. Compared to the mine, it's a paradise here. But it was also sad to move here. I eventually had to say goodbye to colleagues and friends. We went through a lot together. But my current life is much better. Hon makes a living from dairy cattle. The 5 cows and 4 sheep are his pride and joy. This way, he can offer his 2-year-old daughter a good future. In his eyes, it's not just a question of luck.
Nada, el único consejo que quizás les puedo decir que aprovechen, ¿no? Que aprovechen.
Above all else, I would advise those who still work up there to save what they find.
Inviertan así como he hecho yo, ¿no? Para que ya tengan.
You can save up a small fortune little by little and start a new life.
Eso, que no desperdicien lo que están sacando.
If you're clever about it, the mine can change everything, just like it did for me.
Que lo aprovechen algo, que lo inviertan en algo. Eso.
6 years ploughing away, most of the time without a guaranteed salary. For Hon, the risky venture was worth it. Fortunato hopes for something similar for himself. 4 hours later and still no success. If he doesn't find anything in the next 4 hours, his chance of a salary is over. I think I have something. That's gold. Whether or not it actually is gold, he can only find out later. I'd rather pack it up now. It's my whole monthly salary. It better not be lost or left for anyone else to see. Fortunato wants to find out how much gold he holds in his hands as soon as possible. But he has to work on it elaborately first. Here in the gold preparation center, he borrows the necessary tools. Did he get his big break? How much is his lump of gold worth? Will this gold nugget change Fortunato's life? How much gold is in his discovery, he still doesn't know. To do so, the miner has to work on it strenuously at the gold processing center. The stone in which the gold is found has to be put in a mix of water and a cup of mercury. This is how Fortunato separates the gold from the stone. Then he grinds everything with the big brick until it's liquid. Everyone here keeps to themselves. We don't care about the others. I don't want to distract myself. He still has no idea about the value of what he's found, whether or not in the stone vat under him there's a golden ticket. Because between him and his dream, there's still plenty of hard work and the dangers of harming his health with mercury. I know that mercury's not good for your health. You should actually wear gloves. In modern gold processing plants, there are safer processes. But with the simple means up here, gloves aren't standard equipment, unfortunately. Fortunato takes the mixture of water, mercury and gold to a sink. Since mercury and gold combine with each other and are heavier than water, he can wash away everything else. After wringing it all out, there's a mixture of pure gold and mercury. So much work for such a small nugget. How much gold is in it for Fortunato, he'll find out in the next few minutes at the local gold dealers. He pays 10 cents for the mercury that he used. While he is on his most important task of the month, he only thinks of his family. We bump into the first of his colleagues after work. Apart from working in the gold mines, there are no other jobs here. The few dollars that they earn are wasted by many. Fortunato definitely doesn't want that. Gold trader Betty hopes for a good exchange rate. She has the difficult task of delivering to the workers the most important news of the day. Was it all worth it?
Some miners find a good amount, but I've rarely experienced this during my work here. You need good luck for that.
How fortunate Fortunato was today, he'll find out as soon as Betty heats the mixture to 360 degrees Celsius. The mercury evaporates and pure gold. For Fortunato, it's exactly 0.8 grams today, about 20 euros after being converted. His wage, for a whole month.
A ver si te cambia y va a recuperar, porque recién la mina va a mejorar.
That wasn't much today, but I won't give up hope. Next time, it'll definitely be more. I can make up for this. Well, goodbye.
Ciao.
Fortunato is a bit disappointed. However, he can support his family for another month with 20 euros. It's an unspectacular take, but enough to try again next month. His dream remains of one day finding a giant gold nugget that changes everything.